Buy a house next year if you want to be broke.
Yeah, I don't know if this shit is worth it, bro.
I became a homeowner at 22 years old, and I instantly regretted that shit, bro.
There are so many Americans today that have home buyer's remorse. They just bought a home and just simply regret it. Let's get to it.
So I'm gonna keep it 100 with ya. I told y'all I got this house in Dallas, Texas for like around 375 or whatever. Living in a nice area. Yeah, I don't know if this shit is worth it, bro. Not only did I put $10,000 out of my savings, this $3,000 mortgage, man, I am literally house poor. Like, I don't know if just having my own space is worth not being able to do anything else. Like, I miss having a little apartment and going out and doing whatever I want and buying whatever I want. And I understand the long-term investment and all that shit, but I don't even care about money. And I make 124. Like, I feel I shouldn't have to work a fucking side job. And my mom was always pushing me to like, get a house, get a house, get a house. And now that I have it, I don't think this shit worth it. Especially if you're single. Any thoughts?
Not gonna lie, he's not lying. Like, buying a house and like you are house poor and you can't literally live life any kind of way you want is kind of pointless, right? Like, you don't want to get into a house and the house itself that you have is probably more than 60-70% of your income that you are bringing in over a year. You're literally just working backwards. Like, yeah, in the long term, like he said, you're going to have equity, but what about the weekend? What about every day of life? What about you trying to go out on a date, take your kids out to go eat? You want to go get gas in the car. You got to budget so particularly because your house has this much of your income, man. And it's so crazy, man, because I want a house. Man, like, I want a house so bad, man. Like, I got a house right now. We're renting, right? But like, I want to buy my house. Like, I want a house to where I can put my kids in and my family. Like, I just want to be in a house so bad. That's mine. That I can say is mine. If I wanted to go and knock a hole in this wall right now, I could do that because it's mine. It's mine. I want it so bad. But unfortunately, with the market right now, these interest rates are insane. 7% interest rate. I want you to do the math. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, the house that you want to buy, how much it costs, and like what's the difference if you had a 7% interest rate versus a 3% interest rate, guys. It's so drastic. Like, I'm talking $500 to $800 difference in your rent, even upwards of $1,000, depending on what your budget is. Like, it's crazy out here, man.
Hey, Raph, I'm a teacher and I can barely afford to pay rent with my salary. My salary bi-weekly is basically my rent minus $500. Guess how much my car is? $400. Guess how much insurance is? $100. Oh, yeah, that's right. You do the math. I'm left with owing money at the end of the month. That's not even with groceries. Holy that's not even with groceries. I realize every single month I am transferring money out of savings into my checking and I am not. Just had the realization in the car that I'm actually going to go into debt if I continue being a teacher. Like, genuinely. Wow. Oh, I'm like literally having a crisis right now. I'm gonna have a panic attack right now. I can't do this. I literally cannot do this. Knowing every single month that most of my money is literally like, I don't have money. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna pay off my credit card this month. I don't know. All right, well, rats, peace and blessings, and I hope you can afford your rent today and groceries and your car and insurance and life. Bye.
Wow. And don't get me wrong, like, she is a teacher, so like her income may not be, it may be on the lower end, or I don't know, she could be on the higher end. But guys, we could blame, oh, she just doesn't make a lot of money. But guys, rent on the other end is as bad as buying a house too, because guys, the rents, if you just get a regular 1-bedroom apartment, and that's crazy. I look back on when I was in college on the bedroom, 1-bedroom, I had a 2-bedroom actually. The apartment I had, when I was in college, it was $1,400. Right now, it is $2,000. $2,000 versus when I was in college, it was $1,400. I think it was even $1,300, guys. And it's crazy because she's renting an apartment, right? On top of, she got the car. She didn't even put gas in there. She's in debt just because she got to live. And don't get me wrong, maybe her standards are too high. See, I mean, there are, you know, spots out here that are $1,000, but you also want to balance it out with safety, and you want to live a certain level of life, guys. So it's crazy out here, man. Like, literally, you want to be comfortable. Like, the market, man, I don't know. I truly don't know what's the fix, honestly. The fix is just fix interest rates. I wish it was that simple. Just drop the interest rates. Companies can't be so greedy anymore. Like, I don't know. I truly don't know. But guys, I mean, I personally won't be buying a house until the interest rates, I can get like a 3%. Because the house I want, like, literally, the interest rate is like destroying any kind of thoughts of me even getting a house. Like, let alone the value of the house, because the house is, I mean, the average house right now is what, $400,000, and I'm talking just some random house that looks like, you know, almost like a trailer, you know, and it's crazy. It's so crazy to think about. It's so annoying, but it's the truth. We can't buy houses. We can't. Let me know in the comment section what your situation is. You gotta see this last video, though. This last video that I'm gonna show you all the way towards the end of this video, it's gonna blow your mind.
I'm in the process of buying my very first house as a 28-year-old with no kids. I'm not married. I am in a relationship. I close in 7 days, and I feel like I should be super excited right now and happy, but in reality, I am terrified. And I am so nervous, and I want to back out, but it is literally way too late in the process for me to back out. And I missed my last chance to do that, and so now I am just like sitting here and regretting my decision, but we're just gonna have to make it work. We're gonna have to figure it out, and yeah, I'm gonna be house poor. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna afford food. I don't know how I'm gonna afford gas. I don't know what I'm doing. Who let me do this? Who let me do this?
So before she even bought the house, she said she's gonna be house poor. Did you not do the budget before you? I mean, don't get me wrong, things do change within the deal, right? When you're signing the papers and things like that, you may sway you off. You always want to give like a $500 cushion, depending on the budget. You want to have like a $500 cushion because you get your pre-approval versus when you're signing all the papers and things like that. You do want to have a cushion, but you went into the deal knowing you were going to be house poor. Like, that's scary. That is so scary. It's like, man, and honestly, I understand. I understand how it happens, because literally we think it's possible to do it versus probable. Like that, those are the two things that I think that's the right word I want to use. But like, it's possible that, you know, oh, I make $5,000 a month. Yeah, I can afford a $3,000 a month mortgage. Like, I can, yeah, really afford it. But when you do sit down and do the raw math, right, you got $3,000 for mortgage, then you add in insurance, then you add in all the maintenance that it takes on the house, right? Because the maintenance alone is scary, especially if you're not buying a brand new house, right? Even brand new houses have issues, but overall, the maintenance is a long thing in itself. I got my buddy, he just had to buy a whole new AC unit for his house randomly in a smack dead in the middle of the winter. $6,000 gone out of nowhere, just out, gone. $6,000. Guys, it's not a joke, right? And then next thing you know, you left with only $500 to spend for the entire month. Gas, car insurance, car payment. Hopefully your car is paid off and you got no car payment. But guys, when you literally sit down and do the math, it's scary, man. It's truly scary. But that's why you always want to have a cushion. You always want to have a good amount of money saved up past when you put down the down payment, because the down payment is something completely different from when you actually have the house. When you have the house, man, the maintenance alone could possibly match the mortgage that you're paying. Like, it's scary. It's scary to think about, especially any given month. If you don't do your preventative maintenance and you don't do all this stuff around the house, it's scary. And I don't know, hopefully she's like married or whatever, like she has a partner or somebody that could help her with it. But doing it alone is even scarier. Oh, man, listen, I wish the market would get better, but honestly, I don't know. I don't see it getting any better anytime soon, especially with these tariffs that the economy, God, the government, you know what? We're not even gonna go there. We're just gonna get to the next video.
I became a homeowner at 22 years old, And I instantly regretted that shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you why I regretted it though. So I ended up putting 78,000 down on my house, right? And once you get your house, right, you become house poor. Okay? Now, everybody's not gonna be house poor. I was house poor. I'm just speaking from my experience, bro. I'm young as shit, buying a house. I'm house poor at this point. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I did not really gauge all the maintenance that it took to take care of a house. On top of that, I had to put work into the house. They sold us the house, right? Sold the house with mold in it. How did I not know it was mold in it? Did you not get an inspector? Yeah, I had an inspector. This what these dirty, nasty, gritty people did. Scantless, right? They painted over the mold so thick that the detectors couldn't get it. And it didn't even smell like mold down there, nothing. It was all dry, right? So I had to go in, get the walls chopped out, get the house waterproofed, whatever that came up to. So this is just more stuff you got to come out of. But all in all, I would say that I really regretted it once I figured out how much the maintenance was, bro. And like how often you got to do certain things. And obviously it makes it a little sweeter that it's your shit and it's an investment. But for me personally, I just was not ready for that. Now the house is about to sell. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with the cash that I do get from the house. Obviously, I might invest in another property. I think that's where my head's at. But just something to like rent out or something. You know what I'm saying? Not to live in. I can't do it. I'd rather live in an apartment. I'm going to be honest. You can call me crazy all you want. But I just feel like at this point in my life, I should be living in an apartment, bro. A house is a lot. It's a lot.
Honestly, and it's so common. The inspectors literally don't. I mean, not that it's the inspector's fault that they didn't find it, but at the same time, I mean, that's what we pay inspectors for. You know, like, I mean, what can you do? You literally pass inspection. I mean, you can't go back and sue. Like, they're doing their inspection to the best of their abilities. Like, it's scary, man. It's like, God, you know, it makes you reconsider a lot of things, right? Because the maintenance alone, like, imagine you bought a house and you spent all this money. He said he put a huge chunk of down payment, $80,000 on his down payment. And can you imagine putting that much money down just to find out that you got to put down all this more money, so much more money just so you can live in the house, because you don't want to live in a house with mold, right? Like all this stuff that came up on the back end of it, on the back end after you think you all set and good. Set alone, the equity and all that, yeah, equity and all that is great, but God, man, it's just the maintenance, guys. The maintenance on top of the interest, on top of everything else, you just want to map it all out and make it perfect. Now, he did say he was going to get another house. You're still going to have maintenance, right? Like, the maintenance don't go away. That's the house itself. Now, hopefully you get a good interest rate, or you get, you got your deal set out, or you pay cash for it where you don't have to worry about a mortgage or anything like that. But man, it's still scary, even if you rent it out, right? Like, even if you get a unit where the renters are paying your mortgage, you still have maintenance. Like, it's still gonna cost money. It's just not directly where you live, which makes sense. I mean, if it makes sense for you, it works. But guys, the market, man, that sucks, man. He was all planned out. He was ready for it. But like you said, he instantly fell house poor, mainly because, I mean, the payment is just so high, man. It's just high. It sucks right now.
Guys, when we bought this house, I don't think we realized how much financial undertaking it would take. Okay, so in 2021, I think when our child was 6 months or so, we made the decision that we now want to move out of our 2-bedroom rental. We were staying in a very affluent area. It was nice. It was very convenient. It was central to everywhere we frequent. But the issue with the property is that it didn't have like a secure garden or like privacy, because the gardens weren't like sectioned off so anybody could like look into your bedroom window, honestly. And also we shared the same property with a hotel, right? So anybody could really come in. We didn't really have that much of security issues. I mean, I think there was only one incident, but other than that, it was also like just becoming too small because now this babies are crawling, she can do stuff, and you've got nannies, you've got people coming into the house and all that stuff, whatever. So then we decide, okay, fine, we want to move out of the space. And I don't know why, our decision was to buy a house. Fine. We find the home that we now live in. We agree on a price, and yeah, things go on very smoothly. And our house was the last house, because I remember when we were viewing homes, where we bought our house, it was sold out. And then they contacted us like a week later, and they were like, hey, listen, there's someone's bond, whatever, that fell through. There's an opening, but first grab gets it, you know. So come view and then decide. Firstly, we viewed the house on a screen because the house that they used to view was then sold. Okay, anyway, that's a story for another day. And I think because we really wanted to make this move and we're excited about this move, we didn't really consider a lot of things. So anyway, we buy the house off a plan, basically off a plan and off of what are those things called? Renders. Yeah, off renders. That's what we get our house off of. And because our house was the last one, or like it was a sale that fell through, we took whatever the person had decided on. So there were even things that we didn't realize that we could have added on into our home to make it more comfortable for us, whatever. So we got the house as it is, sharp. When we then decided to accept our bond, we were happy with the bond repayments we had then, right? We never considered that the bond repayments would obviously become way more, obviously also with inflation. So this is the first tip. Do not budget according to that. Like, do not. Already, the difference between our bond repayment and our rent at that point was 8,000 Rand. We were comfortable with that, and that's what we were prepared for because we needed the space and we really wanted to, we wanted to grow as people. Cool. Hi, then 9 months, it took about like 9 months for us to finally get into the home, right? In that time, our bond repayment kept going up and up and up and up and up. We still felt comfortable, and then we moved in. Do you know what we did not consider? The fact that our electricity would be way more, not just a couple hundreds, like way more, right? And obviously, yes, we thought about levies and rates and taxes, but we didn't think about like things like deposits that you need to pay for those. So your ESCOM deposit, which is like crazy. We did not budget for that. And at that time, my husband had just started his new job, and I was still an intern, but I think I was getting less than other interns because they had paid me my full pay when I was pregnant, so I had to pay that back. Cool. So then anyway, we've now moved in. Now electricity is showing us flames because we moved in winter. Then what we also didn't consider is that the fee for your help, so your nanny, is going to go up because now it's transport. You've moved, right? Because we have a stay out. And then also, because now the house is bigger, you have to get extra help and you need to pay for that extra help, whether you've budgeted or not.
So long story short, because I'm sure she just got a whole list of problems. She honestly sounds like she's just venting, right? But overall, like, she went into it with honestly, it sounded like they had a good plan at first, but it just kept going up, right? Like everything went up, right? Between mortgage, between the nanny fees, the electricity, it seems like everything went up. And honestly, you just can't predict that, right? Like imagine you buying a house and you've already budgeted for an extra $1,000 on top of, what you got went up above the mortgage and everything else. You would be like, what just happened, right? Like, because overall, you can't truly budget based off of that, honestly, but you just want to have a good cushion overall. That's the biggest thing. You want to have a cushion. I always give a rule of thumb. When I buy a house, I want to have at least $80,000 just sitting in the bank. 80, 50, at least 50. I'm just going to call it 50, right? Especially depending on how big the house is. But man, it's just, it sucks, man. It truly does suck.
Buy a house next year if you want to be broke. In 2025, there's no way I would buy a house unless I got two things. If I could check these two things off, then I would consider buying a house. First, I would get the seller to either pay for all my closing costs or to pay for a permanent rate buy down. If you take a look at what these past couple years have been, and everyone's talking about doing temporary buy downs and we're going to wait for rates to come down. Yeah, how did that work out? If you want to get into the upper 4s, 5s permanently, where it becomes tolerable for you to buy a house and to afford a house, get the seller to pay for it. We're in a market right now where sellers don't really have as much leverage as they used to. They're probably more willing to do that for their buyer. And second, it has to have a garage. Houses with garages are average $50,000 more valuable. They get a $50,000 increase average market value. It's harder to find them, yes, but it's definitely worth it. If you disagree or you have other comments you want to put down, other things that you would like to look at when buying a house, put it in the comments.
No, that's a good point. I mean, because a lot of houses now, like, people are buying it and they're expecting the rates to like stay the same. I mean, in reality, it's not really true. So if you get the seller to literally cover the closing costs, which is one, right, on top of everything else, I mean, not that I truly agree that it's gonna make a huge difference, but I mean, it could help a little bit. It wouldn't deter me from buying a house now or versus waiting later. It's not enough financial gain for me to wait or buy right now. Like it wouldn't, that wouldn't change me. Now, somebody else maybe, but maybe that wouldn't really move me a lot. But now, move those interest rates down like 3%. I'm in there this year, right now, tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in there. So it just depends. It all weighs out. But honestly, the market, I give it 2 years. I honestly, truly give it 2 years. I hate that the tariffs are going on, but honestly, it could be a benefit long term. Who knows? But right now, I know the goods that's coming in are getting taxed. So guess who's got to pay those taxes? We're going to pay it on the front end. The prices are going to go up. It's actually, honestly, going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And it's scary to even think about, but it's going to get worse. Honestly, it sucks to say, but yeah, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. So anyways, long story short, just be patient, sit and hold, or if you don't have anything at all, just be patient, just wait. All right, it's going to get better soon. Just hold it out. Delayed gratification. We out.